Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of YUNAlysis. With this part of the show, I will choose one super elite athlete and then discuss how he fights. For today's YUNAlysis, I chose Steven Lopez from the United States. I'm sure you guys all know this already, but Steven Lopez is the most decorated Taekwondo athlete of all time. He is a 5-time world champion, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, and a 5-time Olympian. This guy's the real deal. I actually consider the World Championships to be a harder tournament than the Olympics because the Olympics is only limited to 16 athletes, but the World Championships can have more than 100 athletes per division. This guy has won that 5 times. Many people call him the Michael Phelps of Taekwondo, and rightfully so. Before we start, you should really watch these episodes if this is your very first YUNSHOW episode, because I'm going to be using the YUNSHOW jargon that you might not have heard before, even though you've done Taekwondo for a long period of time. Because I'm a huge nerd, I made an Excel spreadsheet to use for recording the relevant details of each interaction, because I wanted to look at the fight as a whole. I didn't want to just look at each little interaction. So the perceived impact is basically how hard I think Steven kicked and got kicked. It's a very subjective variable. It's just from the video. I never spoke to him about how hard he kicked during each interaction. It's just what I think about it. So contact to his opponent is how hard he kicked his opponent. Contact by opponent is how hard he got kicked by his opponent. Rating 1 is if the foot slightly grazed a part of the body. 2 is if the foot made significant impact but did not kick through, maybe it just kind of pushed the target. And 3 is if the foot made a solid booming noise and kicked through the target, even though it didn't score. P distance is where Steven was relative to his opponent, and K is how far he kicked from that P distance. If you're able to see just the blue line on that chart, that means he reached for his opponent. He was in P2, but maybe he used K4 to reach his opponent while he's moving back. Follow-up by opponent K number is if the opponent kicked back, and if so, which K number. Follow-up to opponent K number is if Steven continued to kick after the first kick, and if so, which K number. Score on opponent is if Steven scored during the interaction, and score by opponent is if Steven got scored on during the interaction. I chose these variables because I wanted to see what most people couldn't see, which is pace control. Anyone can watch someone fight and point out the area that he isn't blocking and say, oh, kick him right there. He's not blocking here, so just kick him here. So there's that, there's your strategy. Anyone can do that. Any athlete at Steven's level stops focusing on technical details of each kick during the fight. They already have the form down. They've been fighting for many, many years. They just decide on when to speed up and when to slow down the pace, depending on the opponent. The opportunity to score usually presents itself regardless of which kick he uses. Might be a little confusing. Let me give you an example. No one is able to fight at 100% intensity the entire fight. Whether an athlete knows it or not, he is controlling his efforts so that his effort is at 100% while his opponent is at his lowest. Let's say your opponent throws a super fast triple kick, double kick, spinning hook kick, and then a Superman punch as fast as possible. He's gonna want to take it easy for a couple of seconds after so that he can recover. Let's also say that your evasive maneuvers were just out of this world and he couldn't score on you because you were covered up and moving back and forth from watching this YUNSHOW episode. Now, you're going to be at 100% and he's gonna be at like 20. So that's how you manipulate pace control so that he's not ready to put in 100%, whereas you are.